Welcome to our science video. This video is mainly aimed at A5, but if you're in A4, this will be really useful. If you're in the other classes, join along. This will apply for everybody, okay? I've got Gemma, as I've got no other students, so Gemma's going to help me answer and maybe ask me some questions throughout, okay? So in this lesson, we're going to learn how to investigate pulse rates. So for our settle and start, what do you remember about our circulatory system? Maybe you could pause the video at this time, have a think. What do we remember from our previous lessons about our circulatory system? Me and Gemma are just going to have a little chat about it. Might help you trigger your thoughts about the circulatory system. So Gemma, what do you know about the circulatory system already?
Is it the way the blood is carried around the body?
Yeah, so the circulatory system contains your heart and all of your blood vessels. Okay. A5, you should know this one. What names of blood vessels can you think of? 3 different ones I want. Okay, so we've got the arteries, the veins and the capillaries.
Yep.
We've got the arteries that will take blood away from the heart and carry it all around to the body, dropping off all of that oxygen and all those nutrients that our body desperately needs. And then we've got the veins, and they'll go back into our hearts. There's a really easy way. Jim, if you could write arteries and veins on the board, and I'm going to show you guys a little cheat that will really help you remember this. Okay. So if we look at the word away, thinking that our blood travels away from our heart, begins with the same. Away, arteries, begins with the same letter. Joe, if you could just underline the I and the N. And if we look at the veins, it's actually got the word in. So it's carrying the blood in to the heart. And that's the way I remember it. It's a great cheat. Okay. And then we have capillaries. Capillaries join the arteries and the veins together. And they also allow for the blood and all those nutrients and oxygen to travel into the cells. That's really important, isn't it? So my class again would have done this one about it being a dual circulatory system. So Gemma, if you could draw a heart for me on the board. We can get rid of that writing now, Gemma. If you draw a heart on the middle. And we're going to just explain to you about the 2 loops. A5, hopefully you'll remember where one journey takes to go and get the oxygen. Where do we get our oxygen from? It's our lungs, isn't it? So Gemma, if you draw a sort of pair of lungs above our heart, so we can explain the 2 loops. Excellent. So there's a pair of lungs. Could you just draw the trachea on there as well? So that's all joined in. Super, that's amazing, Gemma. And then if you just draw it down below, a little kind of circle, and just below the heart.
Yep. And
just write in body and organs, okay? Now remember that I said about the different blood vessels. Some are going into the heart and some are going away. So we want to draw a line, Gemma, from our heart towards our body and our organs. Okay?
Down.
Yeah, a bit like a tube, because that's what blood vessels are, isn't it? They're like a little tube. And that's going to give all of the oxygen to our organs and our body that our body will need. Once it's given it to that cell though, it's got no more oxygen left in it. Okay, it's going to have to travel back to the heart. So if we draw another tube, Gemma, back to the heart, that's right. And that's done by a vein. Now it needs to collect more oxygen, because we need oxygen constantly, don't we, to be able to live. So if we draw another tube, Gemma, blood vessel, go into the lungs now. Yeah, so if we just draw it here, going up into the lungs. Okay, and again that's going to go and collect the oxygen now, and then draw another blood vessel that's going to go from the lungs back to the heart, and then it just goes on repeat, because all day long, even when we're sleeping, our circulatory system is working incredibly hard. It goes round back into the heart with oxygen. Once it has the oxygen, the heart then pumps it back round to the body and the organs where it needs the oxygen. It will then travel back to the heart when it's deoxygenated and travel back up to the lungs. Now, with the arteries, it creates a pulse. Because it travels through at such a speed, it kind of bulges out. Let me go to here, so we'll try and explain it a little bit better for you. So your heart beats, your blood is pushed through your blood vessels. This makes your blood vessels bulge as the blood as it passes. And what you feel is a pulse. There's a couple of different ways for you to feel your pulse, which I will come. Your pulse tells you how fast your heart is beating. On average, your heart beats around 70 times per minute. So what does your pulse measure? Have a think, write in the comments. What do we know? Okay, it measures your heart rate, doesn't it? Good, well done. So we're now going to learn how to take our pulse. We can do this either by our neck or we can do it in our wrist. So Gemma, I want you to help me with this one. So you're going to get one arm and just relax it.
Okay.
Gemma, you're in a perfect position because when you're nice and relaxed, you haven't been exercising, this is going to give you your resting heart rate.
Okay.
Okay? You use 2 fingers. It's important to use these 2 fingers and not your thumb. You're then going to place it over your wrist.
Right here.
That's perfect. And if you feel a pulse, fantastic. If you don't, maybe just move it around until you do. Okay, A5, I'll include this PowerPoint onto Teams. There, I found mine there. I find I have to be very quiet and not thinking about anything else, just focusing on that pulse rate. What you'll need to do now is to count for 60 seconds to give us our pulse rate. You can pause the video to do this, okay? And that's going to tell you how many times your heart beats every minute. Remember, if you can't find it, just move it around, push a little harder, and you should be able to find it. So measuring fitness, your heart rate goes up when you're exercising, doesn't it? If we're doing PE and we're doing lots of running or playing football, you can feel your heartbeat pumping really, really fast. And why your body's doing is your body needs more oxygen. So you start to breathe more, don't you? Your heart is pumping more to travel, get all that oxygen around your body, which is so vital, and it means your heart rate will go up. So after you've done your resting pulse rate, I want you to do exercises for 1 minute. Star jumps would be perfect, 1 minute. And then take your pulse rate again. Now the quicker your pulse rate can go back to its normal state. So if we say, for example, say my pulse rate was 75, for example, okay? So I do lots and lots of running, and my heart rate goes up to maybe, I don't know, we'll say 100. I'm going to do one exercise and I'm going to test my pulse rate straight after, and I'm going to count it 1 minute. That's going to give me the score of 100 because I'm just pretending I'm counting. Every minute after, I'm going to measure my pulse rate and I'm going to record it. And you'll notice that it will slowly go down. You're going to actually have to measure yours though. You can see this is straight after, 1 minute after, 2 minutes after, 3 minutes after. And you can tell how fit somebody is by how many minutes. So it took me 3 minutes for my heart rate to go back to normal. So we've got a few questions there for you. What do you notice when you exercise? Write in the comments. What happens to your breathing? Can you feel your heart pumping? So have a go at that one. Just explained that, haven't we? For our reflect, we are going to go for a few questions and I want you to fill these in. So question number 1, choose the correct words from the box to complete the sentences. Gemma, you're going to help me with this one if that's okay.
Yep.
Some words can be used more than once. Your something can be used to measure how many times your something beats per minute. The fitter you are, your something rate returns to normal after exercise. So what would you say goes in there? If you need time to think, remember just hit pause. So what would we need to put in there?
Pulse.
Your pulse can be measured. Your pulse can be used to measure how many times your heart, well done Gemma, beats per minute. The fitter you are, the quicker. Oh, apologies. Not going to write that one in, so I have a few technical difficulties. The fitter you are, the quicker your heart, brilliant, heart rate returns to normal after exercise. Again, if anyone's confused by this, please let me know and I can go through it again with you. Question number 2. Why does your pulse rate increase when you exercise? To deliver more oxygen and glucose to your cells. 2, to make your body fitter. Or 3, to make your body move faster. So let's have a think. Why does our pulse rate increase when you exercise? And we know that it is to deliver more oxygen and glucose to your cells. That's what your body is craving when you're exercising, that oxygen. Question number 3. Again, I'm going to ask Gemma to do this one for me. So 2 students measured how long it took for their pulse rates to return to normal after playing tennis. Student A's pulse rate took 6 minutes to return to normal, and student B's pulse rate took 8 minutes to return to normal. Question 8. Who is fitter, student A or student B?
Student A.
Correct. Question number B is, how can you tell from the results that he is fitter?
Because it took less time for him.
That's right, because it took less time. So, your homework, your aim and achieve for this lesson, should I say, is to take your resting pulse rate when you're sitting down and you're nice and relaxed, as Gemma's demonstrating so beautifully there. And then you're going to do a minute full of star jumps, take that pulse rate straight after, but do a full minute, and then you're going to record how many minutes it takes for it to return back to normal. You need to let me know, guys, okay? Hi guys, I'm back, and I'm going to give you a top tip, because I know some of you might have lost count when they're counting to 60 with their pulse rate. So me and Gemma are just going to show you a really easy way. Find your pulse, count for 10 seconds, okay? Use a timer though, because if you're counting 10 seconds and counting your pulse, that's going to be really hard, isn't it? So use a phone or get someone else to count for you whilst you're counting your pulse. Okay, so Gemma, if you could count 10 seconds for me.
Okay, ready? Go. Stop.
Okay. So I had 12.
Okay.
Okay. How many minutes are in? How many seconds are in a minute? 60. So all we need to do there is times that by 6, because we've already counted 10 seconds, haven't we? And if we do that maths, Gemma?
72.
So my pulse is 72. So that's an easier way for you. Do your pulse for 10 seconds, times it by 6, if you find that easier. Make sure you're using some kind of device to do the time in, or you're asking someone to give you a hand. Thanks, guys.